barbecue band, and she's still feeling a little Texas Independence Day-ish. One-star flag. You got it. Coming up.
Hi, this is Red Steagall. Join me this week for Cowboy Corner and a return visit from my buddy, bull rider Cody Lambert. He's got a lot of wonderful stuff.
Little baby there.
Yeah, he got a whole mess of kids.
He does, man, every time he turns around. Areas of concern for the Cowboys defense as the league year at free agency is now just days away. Stephen Jones at the combine. We have 3 of our 4 safeties in terms of playing time this last year up for contract. We have the defensive line group with Dorrance Armstrong and Randy Gregory. That's certainly something that comes to mind. I'll hate it if they lose Randy or Jaron Curse. I really will. Those, to me, are your must-keep guys, Brian.
Yeah, to me, the thing, I do believe that if they're fair with Randy Gregory, he'll be back. I do. I just don't want Stephen Jones and Adam Pacifica and Todd Williams and those guys that do the contracts to say, all right, Randy, here's $8 million.
Yeah.
Be fair with the guy.
Okay, I like what you're saying there. Maybe the market's going to be hot for Randy because he's so fast.
Sure.
And he has hardly so much tread left on those tires.
Yeah, the people will say, though, he's an older guy, though. And do you want to pay? And maybe that's the one thing that can kind of hold you in place, that maybe that gives you a chance. I know Randy wants to be here, but I think Randy just wants the Cowboys to be fair. Like I was saying, if you say, they say, oh, we'll give you, $7.5, $8 million. Randy's going to look at you and say, well, wait a minute, no.
Yeah.
How about like, when we talk
Double
about,
it.
yeah, let's talk about, well, Randy's more like, I think Randy, you could get Randy from somewhere between 12 and 14.
Wow, that would be incredible.
I think they can really do that deal. But it's a matter of the Cowboys not just initially just going out there and trying to hammer the guys.
What if the market's huge? What if the market is 17 or 18? Let me throw this out real quick, Brian.
Yeah.
Dorrance Armstrong had 5 sacks compared to Randy's 6.
Yeah.
Do you think we should be looking at Dorrance as maybe a less expensive version of Randy and a chance to save some cap space on a guy 4 years younger? I think if Belichick is running your team, he might very well do that. Depending on what Randy gets, if it is big money. For more context, his pressure rate is less than Randy, about 30% less pressures per snap. So there is a drop-off. But he can still get the job done, and I felt like there were key moments in big games last year where Dorrance really came through for you.
Yeah, and it was one of those things, Gavin, where when we would talk, I would always feel like that. Like I would challenge. I know on the pre and post game shows and stuff like that, or especially the pregame shows with Ari. I was always like, hey, this is a game that Dorrance Armstrong needs to play in. This is a game that Dorrance Armstrong needs to play well in. This is a game that he needs to show up. There was way too many times where, as a player, he would play one really good game and then play 3 bad ones where you never even knew he was on the field. And last year...
Just a flasher still?
Yeah, last year I felt like this last season, I felt like there was more consistency from him.
Yeah, that's what I felt.
That's what I felt like. There was a lot more consistency from him.
And the numbers pretty much back it up.
And maybe this is the thing where now you have Dan Quinn, and those guys, and Aiden, the coaches there. And maybe they've kind of reached, Armstrong. Maybe they found a way to what makes him tick, what makes him go. Maybe
Quinn has a knack for that.
Yeah, Quinn has a real knack for that. And so maybe to your point, I would be worried to say, okay, well, we're going to kind of put our eggs in that Dorrance Armstrong's basket, but maybe now we're starting to see the Dorrance Armstrong that we thought he was going to be.
He had to get stronger. He was lean coming out of college. I would have it as a fallback. It's not my preferred plan, but if we go with that and maybe draft another end along with Micah, maybe you could still have something.
Well, no, there's plenty of ends. There's plenty of ends in this thing, and at 24, there might be a really good end sitting on that board. If, in fact, you get wiped out where Randy is gone immediately, if tonight all of a sudden the conversations between David Cantor and the Cowboys don't go very well, you might be in a situation where you're looking dead in the eye of a defensive end.
Okay, KZ, Hooker, he did mention 3 of 4 safeties. I would like to keep all of them. Did they play well enough to get out of that league minimum or 1.5 type of club? Both of them did, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And I think with KZ, we started to hear some whispers that maybe some folks were watching his game, the Achilles. You remember we had 2 players that had the Achilles at safety, and Kazee was one of them. There's people that are saying, hey, they kind of like the way the guy covered, like the way the guy tackled, the way he threw his body around.
Made a hell of a pick.
Yeah,
really.
there's some people
Chargers
that,
game.
yeah, exactly. There's some people that kind of feel like that maybe he's on his way back. Me personally, I'd like to see the Cowboys try and do something with Malik Hooker, because I kind of felt like that Malik Hooker, when he was coming out of Ohio State, he was one of the best safety prospects I'd seen in a while. Went to the Colts, didn't really work out, got hurt, and all that. He looks like a guy to me after the second year of the Achilles, him being a guy that you can kind of rely on to play in some coverage and things like that.
Give you some physicality too.
I'd love to have Curse back. I think Curse. We listened to the clips and stuff of him.
He sounded like he's back already.
Interview with the station and all that. I mean, he sounded like that he was really, really motivated about the way that, he wasn't happy about the way the season went, but he was happy about some of the things that they were able to do. And I think he wants to still be a part of that.
I think he took ownership. Obviously, he would do that. He was calling the plays for the defense.
Yep.
Will he continue to do that if he stays around?
I think so. I think
He led the team in tackles.
Yeah, Dan trusts him. If you got the communication device in your helmet, that means the coaches trust you absolutely.
Okay, 214 says, I have 6 kids and have only changed 2 diapers in my life.
It's amazing.
Says, I'm the lucky one.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, John in Mark, Texas. I have a 4-month-old. My wife sleeps like a log and won't get up, so I just do it at night.
Yeah.
So I'm just gathering up points.
That was me.
Dude.
That
She's
was
faking
me.
you out, bro.
Yeah.
She's faking you out. She's sleeping good. It's like,
She wakes up every time.
yeah.
She hears
She's got
that.
one eye peeking right at you as you get up.
By the time you're at 4 months or 6 months, like Remy is for us, it's like they only wake up like maybe once later on at night, 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. or something like that. But you were the guy to get up all the time.
I was always the get up guy. I just kind of felt like because at the time I was working in football, and I'm just so used to getting up anyway and getting going.
Yeah.
That I would just say, okay, if I heard Bennett, I would just say, okay, time to go do it, and then I would go get ready for work,
There you
kind
go.
of a thing. That worked out for me.
Well, you are capable of tremendous feats of strength.
I am.
That's just another
Feats of
example.
strength. Exactly.
817, the brother-in-law is the one and only criminal in that situation.
No
Yes.
question.
Bad actor. What the hell
actor.
were you thinking?
Yeah.
Your brother confided in you, and you went and did that? That's just weird, man.
Honey, can you believe a bomb does?
I can't believe that. Yeah.
Can you believe it? I was all on purpose.
You gotta tell her and tell her.
Gosh.
Yeah. You gotta be careful with that kind of stuff. And next thing you know, you're telling on somebody. Okay, LA Live with Lucius Alexander is coming up next year. Where are we going, sir?
I got a question for the Tolos, and there's a woman that threw a pug off a building.
No.
Yeah.
Pugs are my favorite. That'll hurt. Let's talk Rubin and Associates before we do anything else, though, because if your financial situation has been thrown off a building, you're in bad shape. Mark Rubin can help. He is an absolute godsend for you here on 105 The Fan. Mark Rubin has been with us since day one, and what he specializes in is taking people that are dealing with financial stress from credit card debt, repossession, foreclosure, and eliminating that for the rest of their lives. He's amazing. Mark Rubin, Rubin and Associates. He has helped thousands of Tolos over the years, and I tell you what, if I have financially stressful questions in my life, Mark Rubin is a tremendous resource. He can always answer your questions. He's a Tolo himself. He's a big-time sports fan, and the great thing about Mark Rubin is this might be a topic that you've never talked to anybody about because, it's so stressful. You just want to ignore it. Well, Mark can take that difficult conversation, make it very easy going for you, and the next thing you know, you're going to be on the path to financial freedom. Mark Rubin, Rubin and Associates. This guy, he can stop foreclosure in its tracks. Are they talking about taking your family vehicle or the home? Call Mark Rubin right now, and by the time you get home tonight, you're going to be feeling a lot better about where you are and where you are headed. Mark Rubin, Rubin and Associates, 1-800-LAWYERS, Dallas, Texas, legal.com.
Stream The Fan 24/7 all day, every day. Download the Odyssey app or listen live at 1053thefan.com.
This is Andrew
Andrew Perloff with an Odyssey Sports Minute, sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Measurements are pouring in from the NFL Scouting Combine, and the one everyone seems most interested in is surprising. It's hand size, specifically pick quarterback Kenny Pickett, coming in at 8.5 inches. The first-round prospect threw 42 TDs and 7 INTs last year, but now we're speculating he might not be able to hold a football. Hopefully for Pickett, teams focus on his stats more than the ruler. I'm Andrew Perloff.
Get in the